from your your days in Chicago to then begging to be on stage at the Comedy Store, then to finally your first appearance at on Carson, like, did it hit you that like your perception of yourself, like you're like, I finally did it? Or was it like, what, I'm curious at that moment where it was like defining like a huge sigh of relief, like, holy hell, like I'm here, I did it. Like when the perception became a reality for you.
Well, obviously after that first appearance on the Tonight Show that you scored there, because a lot of people didn't, that was a real moment, a revelation that, hey, I arrived in the business. But all of a sudden, there's a great pressure that comes afterward. And now what?
Yeah, you have to
a lot of guys could come up with 2 or 3 Tonight Shows, but could you come up with 10 Tonight Shows or 20 Tonight Shows? Or, keep doing it, keep coming up with new material. Dick Cavett years ago wrote a very funny thing about, he was working at Mr. Kelly's in Chicago as a new comedian, and that opening night, and I've been there, I opened at Mr. Kelly's. In those days, all the press was a Variety, Hollywood Reporter, the Chicago Tribune, the Chicago Daily News, the Chicago Sun-Times, the Herald American. All the critics were in that room. And so you score, you got over. Now you're in your dressing room and you say, I did it, man. I did it. I scored. I did it. I got it. And a little while later, you hear knock, knock, knock. Mr. Dreesen, 5 minutes. You go, oh shit, I got to do it again.
Oh man.
All I did was impress that audience that night. Okay, now you got to do it again. Wow. That's what happens to you when you get in our business. You realize that it's not a 10K. It's a 54-mile relay. It's a long run, and you got to keep that work ethic going, and you got to keep reinventing yourself with different kind of material and new material. But again, the exhilaration of that night, it's hard to describe. When I came off that stage, that everything that I had worked for all those years was for that moment. There's a song that I never forget that a girl named Dana Winter sings it, but so did Whitney Houston. One Moment in Time. And when you're standing behind that curtain, that all of my dreams are a heartbeat away. If you can answer that one moment in time. And this is that athletes talk about it. They call it seize the moment. There's sometimes a baseball player, he's hitting 142. He's going back to the minors. He may never play again. Somebody got injured. Somebody else got injured. And all of a sudden he's up with bases loaded. And that's that moment he has to seize. And if he seizes that moment, his life is going to change forever. And that's what happens behind that curtain.